Casey Barnes on the Loungers Plus live lounge with me right now. Mate, g'day, how are you?
I am very well. It's good to be in Tamworth.
Great to have you here. Welcome back, because you're
Thank you.
no stranger to Tamworth.
No, it's just so exciting to see it back thriving again, and the amount of people that we're seeing everywhere, and all the shows seem to be selling out, and it's like the good old days. It's great.
It is. There's a vibe in the... I was talking to the Wolf Brothers about this the other day. There is a vibe in the air. Full first festival after a hiatus. I mean, we had one in April. But, you know, music's coming out, there's album launches for everybody and all that sort of stuff. It's a great vibe, isn't it?
It is.
Feeling.
It is, and it's about time, you know. I think I've experienced it at a couple of other festivals as well. I think Gympie Muster was another one where it was just the biggest they've had in at least the last 10 years, and it was huge. And I think it's exciting to see that, you know, festivals are back and people are coming out and we can actually enjoy live music again.
I know, there's nothing like it.
It's the best.
And
it
it's
is the
been
best.
missed, so it's good to see. Listen, we need to dive into Golden Guitars.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about your win first of all.
Okay.
For highest selling album.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Excited?
Oh, very chuffed. I mean, that's my first Golden Guitar, funnily enough, and you know, for it to be highest selling album, it's extra special because I guess it's voted by the fans that have gone out and bought the album and supported it, and you know, that's what it's all about. So I'm really grateful, you know, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. It's very competitive in every single category, and I think that's a good thing. You know, it's a great sign of where Aussie country music is at, and there's so much talent coming through. It's great.
It's really exciting, isn't it? And you've got 5 smash hit singles off your album. Is that the right number? 5?
I think so. We've been lucky to have a bunch of country number ones, and that's played a huge role in, I guess, the success of the album, because, you know, without radio playing this stuff, it makes it really hard. So, you know, we've had some great support at country radio, and we've been lucky to get some crossover support at commercial radio, which makes a huge difference as well. So, yeah, very grateful.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting time. And 5 nominations for Golden Guitars.
Yeah.
This is huge.
Yeah, I think we nudged up to 6 with the top selling album. So so that's that's amazing. And you know, I think as I said, it's anyone could win the other categories too. Yeah. So it's going to be a great night tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it.
Nerves going into tomorrow night? Oh, you're just happy to be in that place with the nominations.
I'm happy.
Kind of a good recognition.
Yeah, look, I just always like to be in the moment, enjoy the night for what it is, and you know, it's great. It's great to win awards, but you know, it's also important to make sure that, you know, you've got that connection with your fans, and you've got them coming along to your shows, and the awards are the icing on the cake, and it's also another great opportunity to catch up with everyone that you haven't seen. You know, there's a lot. It's like backstage, you're seeing people that you haven't been able to, you know, see in the flesh for the last 12 months, and it's always a big party and lots of fun. So,
and if you're heading into a year where because you've got a tour, and we'll talk about that too, but there's live gigs and things happening through the year, it would be a great way to start the year, catch up with everybody, a bit of a vibe heading into 2023.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's the great thing about Tamworth, is it really does kick the year off for so many people, and you know, it's exactly what you're saying. And so we're about to announce another new single next month. It's called Summer Nights, which I'm very excited about. It's brand new. Just wrote and recorded that very recently, and then we're announcing a national tour and getting back out on the road, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, great. And Get to Know You was nominated for Apple Music of the Year too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That's exciting. I have to ask you about the red car in that film clip.
Oh.
Is that your red car?
I wish.
Just that perk of filming really cool video clips.
We were just so lucky to get a hold of that car. It's a Mustang, and a very rare one. I think it's the exact same model that they used in Gone in 60 Seconds, that famous film. Yeah, and there's not many of them around, and we were just lucky enough to get our hands on it, and I was allowed to drive it for a day, which I was pooping my pants, because I was like, every time you touch the accelerator,
because that would be so
it wanted to just take off, so I had to be very careful.
There's a lot of roads you were just driving, so I now know why.
We luckily found some nice, very quiet roads on the, you know, actually northern New South Wales, this beautiful countryside up there, and so we were lucky we could, you know, drive safely and responsibly.
Safety first. Excellent. Yes. Taking you back just a little bit to Australian Idol, obviously in 2009, what kind of a platform for you is that to launch? Like, we talk about, not necessarily winning awards, but that finalist action. I was talking with someone in an interview previously, but that kind of platform, how important for you was that? And
yeah, that's a good question. It's a good question. I was funny. I never wanted to go on a reality TV show, and I got asked a couple of times by the producers to see if they wanted me to audition, and I turned it down because I was like, no, I just want to do my own thing, and I sort of got a bit of momentum going. I landed a support with Bryan Adams, and we did A Day on the Green, and all these things were happening. And I was like, this is great. And then I got convinced to go and audition, and it ended up being a good thing, and I was lucky enough to get through. And funnily enough, a lot of people would know James Johnston, who's also doing really well, and we were both on exactly the same year, so we were both in the top 12, and it's nice to see that. Fast forward to now, things are exciting. Things are happening for both of us, and literally earlier today, I was downtown doing another interview and ran into Dicko, and we've become great mates.
Okay.
He's a legend. Like, on the show, he was horrible. He was horrible to everyone because that was his character,
job.
and he was brutal. Brutal. But now, he's just a lovely guy, and we get along great. So it was a really good experience.
And lend yourself to some great mentors in the industry too, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that little bit extra. I mean, back in 2009 when Idol was on, it was a big deal. Like, we didn't have the streaming services now that have taken viewers away. So everyone used to watch, and it was really remarkable to see the difference of, say when you made the top 100 and then the top 24, but then the week that you then go into the top 12 and you're up on billboards and bus stops and in magazines everywhere, and you walk out of your hotel and everyone at that time, knew who you were. It was weird. It was the strangest feeling.
No preparation for that.
Nah,
I imagine.
And you had to be really careful because, I was lucky when I was on the show. I was a little bit older than most of the other contestants, so I had a bit of enough nous to realise this is just a moment that's really nice, but it's not going to be the rest of your career. Because I think, we were living in this, multi-million-dollar mansion, and we had a butler, and we were getting driven around. Seriously, we had this guy that just made all our meals, and security that took us around in, cars and buses and stuff. And I think some of us thought, oh, this is it now. Our life is going to be just like this, and it's definitely not. I think when you come off the show, you've got to realise this is when the actual work starts, and you've got to put in the hard yards. So it was fun, but it wasn't reality. No.
Yeah, okay. It was a bubble.
It definitely was.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So you've got a tour for 2023 after your Leap Festival. Where are you up to?
Well, we're coming back down here, not far from here. We're playing in Narrabri at the start of Feb, and then we've got a festival down in Victoria in March, and then we're kicking on with a whole bunch of dates. May, we're going to be heading to Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide. We're looking at Tassie. We're looking at Western Australia, and then some regional dates as well. A bunch of festivals coming up, and also heading back to America to do some shows in June, I think. So
roll around quickly.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, all the best for it. And of course tonight.
Oh yes.
Yes, let's talk about that.
We need to talk about that.
Yes. Tonight. Where will we find you? What time? What's happening? Tickets?
Literally across the road. It's really the place to be tonight. So we've got Blake O'Connor's playing this afternoon. The Wolfies are obviously playing their show. Then we are playing straight after the Wolf Brothers as well at the Long Yard. I think last I heard there were 20 tickets left. So we're going to sell it out. And if you want to come, get onto it. It's going to be a big party, and we've got a special night planned, so it's going to be great.
Big one. Always is it Long Yard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, hard hitting question.
Right.
We're already into it, but let's reveal the chocolate of your choice.
So, well, before I do that, I don't know if we've got time. We were talking. We were talking a little bit earlier. I put a TikTok up, right, and there was some backlash. And, everyone knows about Cadbury favourites. We've all, been lucky to get them, or we usually get heaps at Christmas time. And And I thought I was the only one in Australia. Well, I thought there'd be more of me actually that didn't love Turkish delights, and I always feel sorry for the Turkish delight because it gets left behind. Nobody wants it to the last one in the box or the bowl or whatever. And I put up a TikTok, and there's obviously a huge support group for Turkish delight fans because all these people came out of the woodwork and they were like, "No, it's the first one that I eat." So, so there you go. There are people that do like Turkish delights, but I have a soft spot for cherry ripes. From when I was a kid, my grandfather used to always buy me a cherry ripe when they'd come to visit, and he'd have one for me. So that was
memory.
that was a good memory. And I also don't mind the old picnics as well, but you know,
there you go.
They're all good.
They are all good. Not a bad one in there. Except maybe the Turkish delight. Anyway, we won't talk about that anymore. Thank you, Casey Barnes.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All the best for tonight, and all the best for the rest of the year.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.